Welcome back, Warriors, to another Battlefield 2042 video. I'm your commanding officer, Major Doodleman149, and in today's briefing I'll be going over all the launch specialists in an objective fashion. I'll do my best to keep personal feelings out of the intel review so I can review all the specialists in an unbiased fashion. Let's not waste any time, soldiers. Let's objectively review the specialists being deployed alongside us in 2042. For starters, I'm going to be taking a look at each specialist, readdressing their unique abilities, and then commenting on how well this may meld into our current deployment strategy we have for this upcoming conflict. The first specialist we're introduced to at the FOB was the Canadian, Webster McKay. Webster is a self-classified assault soldier and specializes in navigation and enhanced agility. More specifically, he has access to a grappling hook that can pull him in all directions. It has a relatively short cooldown and allows McKay to reach areas other specialists cannot. He is a lankier soldier and is more capable of running and gunning more effectively than others. The grappling hook, while annoying when McKay is almost down, does not greatly alter the battles on a moment-to-moment basis. The grapple is more for him to save his ass when he's disadvantaged or for preemptively taking a power position in the field before hostiles can reach it. His enhanced agility is there, but barely noticeable. The first woman we were introduced to by the brass was Maria Falk. Now, while she has aged a couple of decades since we first met her a few months ago, she is still a capable soldier in every way that counts. She refers to herself as a German support soldier and has access to advanced medical equipment and training. Her Surette pistol fires syringe darts that have a mix of chemicals in them. If the target is registered as a friendly, the chemicals administer boosted healing properties, possibly some type of adrenaline. If the target is a foe, the chemicals alter themselves to essentially poison the target. Her medical training also makes it easier for her to bring down soldiers back into the fight at full strength. Again, Maria's kit doesn't exactly offer anything groundbreaking in terms of supreme effectiveness. The science behind her Surette pistol is above my pay grade, perhaps R&D has more info on that, but its effectiveness in general is average. It's there for quick heals on the go mostly, both for Maria and her squad mates. Her skills in reviving injured friendlies is a unique boost that offers something else unique without it being unstoppable. We earlier had the displeasure of being introduced to a dirty Russian engineer, Pyotr Gukovsky. He prefers to be called Boris for whatever reason. What this commie son of a bitch brings to the battlefield is a defensive deployable turret that gets more effective the closer its handler is to it. The turret has average health and average damage. It isn't strong by itself at all, really. Boris is just as I expected, an inferior fighter when it comes to kit. The Ruskies gave him a single piece of gear that is just unimpressive. I almost felt confident just exchanging blows with a lone turret during Operation Open Beta. If anything, this bot needs to have a software upgrade for better range targeting. Our last initially deployed specialist arrived from South Africa. Wickes Van Dale calls himself Casper, so he must think he's some kind of spooky ghost type of fighter. All that sounds like to me is another recon soldier. Wickes has access to an advanced MAV, which allows him to spot hostiles and survey the battlefield from above. Whether or not this drone will be kitted with any offensive capabilities remains to be seen. However, something this drone does offer Casper is a sixth sense of sorts. If there are any enemies nearby that are out of sight, Casper receives a visual warning of the incoming hostile. Casper appears to be taking notes from recon soldiers of conflicts past, as his main benefit he brings to the squad is intel acquisition. Being able to spot hostiles from afar and eliminate them before they're able to pose a threat to the squad seems to be Casper's MO. In order to keep himself safe as well, his drone motion tracker works as a good indicator of hostile flanks, something that could potentially save a squad in the field. Nothing about this kit feels like it's unbalanced. Kimball Irish Graves, a survivor of the conflict with China and Russia almost a decade ago, has rejoined the Corps as an engineer and the sole specialist from the good old US of A. Having lost so much in that last conflict, Irish is determined to keep his fellow foot soldiers alive through the use of his deployable cover and his distribution of body armor. This armor allows for soldiers to take more hits before going down, and the deployable cover keeps those soldiers from being hit in the first place. The vitality boost that the armor Irish supplies can make the difference in a firefight. It certainly isn't anything that breaks the laws of battle or the combat equation. The armor essentially gives everyone 20% more survivability in a one-off fashion unless resupplied by a squad mate. The best attack is the one that misses, and the next best one is the one you can block. To reiterate from my last briefing, soldiers, Navin Rao is a recon trooper sent to the front lines by India. His cyber warfare suit allows for him to integrate with any and all battlefield technology, including the HUD of enemy soldiers and the electronic objects in buildings such as bollard controls and elevator buttons. He is also capable of using the data from hacked enemy HUDs to spot nearby hostiles after eliminating a hacked target. Navin brings something new to the table without overshadowing the previous recon soldier, Wickes. Where Navin needs line of sight to engage his tactical abilities, Casper is capable of gathering actionable intel from a variety of angles thanks to his drone. Both men accomplish similar goals in different, separate ways. Santiago Espinoza, whose friends call him Dozer, is the first specialist who appears to have the quartermaster in his pocket. Hailing from Mexico, this assault trooper is geared towards taking fire and surviving almost all of it. Any explosive, even one that sits at the feet of Espinoza, cannot penetrate the thick flak jacket and EOD suit he wears. This suit must offer other injectable benefits as well, since Santiago is capable of recovering from those explosive injuries very quickly. His SOB-8 ballistic shield, or as I call it, the sumbit shield, protects Dozer from all sorts of front-facing small arms fire and appears to be capable of deflecting bullets back at the attacker. By itself, a riot shield is annoying. By itself, explosive resistance is annoying. Combining these two pieces of kit is a nightmare for anyone on the opposing side. If you find yourself facing off against Espinoza in the field, make sure to have a Webster with you to flank him, or be prepared to use all of your explosives, because once that shield comes up, your time on this earth is going to be very limited. Whoever Dozer has connections with certainly went all out to make sure he has the strongest gear available to ensure his survival. Emma Rousier hails from France and goes by the moniker of Sundance. She's a highly mobile assault soldier who brings a wingsuit to the battlefield. She was the first specialist we viewed in the initial release briefing for this upcoming conflict. She was initially only seen wearing a helmet, but has since let her hair down. Aside from her wingsuit, Sundance also has access to some advanced smart explosive from French R&D. The smart grenades are able to be hot-swapped between a cluster grenade, an EMP grenade, and an anti-armor grenade. Emma is another specialist who seems to have way too much going on with her kit. The French seem to have spared no expense in deploying their sole operator to this conflict. Her wingsuit is a minimal issue. It's a neat gimmick those Bigette boys have thrown together, but those smart explosives that she brings to the fight are just too strong. The intel we've seen shows that the cluster grenades are geared towards anti-infantry combat, rightfully so. But the real issue is the AA grenades. While they seem to have a fairly slow individual recharge, the fact that 2 high-damage grenades can be thrown very quickly would be bad by itself. Add in the fact that these grenades instantly lock onto a target and you have a severe problem for vehicle manufacturers. Either they won't be able to keep up with the demand for vehicles with how frequently they'll be destroyed, or the ground pounders may just forgo vehicles in general since they are next to useless against Sundance. Ji-Soo is a recon soldier that comes to this conflict from South Korea, the closest country to the large number of these battlefields. She brings with her highly advanced South Korean tech that makes her the most advanced intelligence officer available. She's able to activate an electromagnetic scanner that allows her to view hostiles through nearby objects. She's also able to automatically detect enemies that harm her via her suit, allowing the hostile or hostiles to be marked for all teammates. The problem any hostile will have against Ji-Soo is that she will basically always know their location. There's no way to effectively hide from Ji-Soo since her suit passively marks enemies in the HUDs of friendly soldiers whenever she is injured. Her scanner is even more powerful as she can relay hostile positional information in a fairly large radius without ever having to be injured. If someone is going to want to take on this South Korean specialist, they'll need to eliminate her in one shot unless they don't mind being quickly eliminated afterwards. Our final specialist that the brass has decided to deploy with us for the state of this engagement is Constantine Angel, or as us Americans call him, Angel. He is Romanian and fancies himself a support soldier. He brings an extensive knowledge of battlefield trauma experience with him as he's able to very quickly get injured soldiers back into the fight as well as give them some ballistic plates to keep them from going down again. He has ties with a private military contractor as he can have ammo, armor, and a variety of weapons dropped to his location via aircraft at almost any moment on the battlefield. Any nearby soldiers needn't shy away from this loadout crate. He always orders enough guns and armor for everyone. Constantine is really trying to outshine our boy Irish. Irish's main focus is keeping allies alive by providing them armor. Constantine can do that far more effectively, and he can revive fallen comrades quickly, which basically puts Maria out of a job as well. He's a jack of all trades, and if he brings a med crate to the battlefield, he might as well be a one-man army. Now, looking through all these intel folders here on each specialist we're being saddled with, there was an admittedly good balance between the types of operators we'll be deploying with. We have 3 assault soldiers, McKay, Espinoza, and Sundance, 2 supports, Maria and Angel, 2 engineers, Boris and Irish, and 3 recon soldiers, Casper, Navin, and Ji-Soo. Given we have 4 specializations and 10 total deployed specialists, there is bound to be a little unbalancing, but this is a fine selection. Now, aside from the on-paper even distribution of expertise, we have a great unbalance in the types of kit these soldiers receive. I'll go class by class to compare them all. Comparing Webster, Espinoza, and Sundance, we have a guy with a grappling hook, a tank with a riot shield and blast resistance, and a speedy wingsuit anti-vehicle specialist. Right off the bat, Webster is the weak link. He brings nothing to the table that makes him stand out. Espinosa can take a hell of a lot of punishment, and Sundance can dish out plenty while being arguably more mobile than Webster. Either Webster needs better kit or the other two need some taken away. I, for one, advocate for the latter. The support troops we are outfitted with are relatively well balanced against each other. Both are capable field medics with specializations in different fields. Maria gets you all patched up as if nothing happened while being able to administer adrenaline through her Surette pistol, and Constantine can bring you back to your feet in an instant while offering some ballistic plating. The issue with Constantine is that he steps on the toes of Irish, whose main battlefield focus is supplying armor to allies to keep them in the fight. If he brings a medical crate to the fight, he can essentially fill the roles of Maria and Irish simultaneously. We may need to put more restrictions on his black market contacts for that armor that he supplies. The engineers are pretty much perfectly balanced against each other. Irish delivers bullet-stopping armor plating while Boris deploys a turret to send more bullets downrange. Neither one fills the traditional engineer role of conflicts past, but that has nothing to do with their current meshing within a squad. As they are, this is the most balanced class we have so far for this upcoming conflict. Casper, Navin, and Jisoo are all focused on intel gathering while accomplishing that goal in different ways and with varying levels of effectiveness. Casper can be hard to spot in foliage-rich environments thanks to his ghillie suit, and his MAV is great for getting eyes on hidden enemies and spotting them. His motion sensor is also great for alerting him of nearby, out-of-sight enemies. Navin can affect the environment around him by accessing elevator controls and other electronics at range while also disrupting enemy HUDs and allowing for nearby enemies to be spotted. Jisoo can actively see through walls to spot enemies and better maneuver around them. She's also capable of passively marking hostiles who do her harm. The sheer automation and power of Jisoo's tech is what makes her stand out far and beyond both Casper and Navin. Casper at least has range and mobility options for intel gathering. What Jisoo really does is effectively put Navin out of a job. And with the severity of the upcoming conflict, we know we'll need all the capable bodies we can get. So, with all that out of the way, it's very easy to see that the second wave of specialists we are introduced to are far more advanced than the forces we saw deployed during Operation Open Beta. For some reason, the brass decided to hold out on all the advanced tech and weaponry for that operation. Instead, they're saving it all for the opening battles of this conflict, and I can assure you, the ground pounders who will be doing the bulk of the fighting will surely be implementing the tech that comes with the newest specialist more than they will with the originals. It seems that the VA of DICE doesn't much care for the veterans they've already created. What a shame. And so that is all, Warriors. I've covered everything regarding the specialists and what they bring to the table with this initial deployment. I'm certain you're all tired of hearing me talk about these operators, so until the conflict begins, you won't hear any more from me regarding these soldiers. And so, if your CEO did an adequate job today with this briefing, be sure to leave him a like and subscription to show Command that he is worthy of more viewership from potential recruits. And with that, I've been your CO, Major Doodleman 149, and until our next briefing, you are all dismissed!